So in today's video, I've got for you an independent and in-depth review of the new Callaway Rogue ST driver. I've got three models. I've got the Max D, and the Max LS driver, and I'm going to be hitting them. I'm going to show you the data. I'm going to talk through the benefits, who they're suited for, and whether I would actually buy them. This is going to be my unbiased opinion of these Callaway drivers. So if you're considering a purchase, make sure you check out this video first. So first up is going to be perhaps the one that Callaway expect to be their biggest seller. So this is the Rogue ST Max driver. So the first thing they've done is they have used carbon at the bottom, on the heel toe here, and on the top of the head. The reason they're doing that is it's lighter. By going lighter there, they can redistribute the weight round the head. And that's what this weight port is here, this tungsten weight at the back of the golf club. This is 26 grams. It's a bit closer to 20 grams in the other two heads. And this weight is set low down and further away from the face. It's designed to make it more forgiving on off-center strikes. So when you do strike it out of the toe heel, the club face won't twist as much. It also helps them maximize this launch conditions to get the ball up in the air. Got this jailbreak frame. What that's really trying to do is add some stability again to off-center strikes. So very similar to moving the weight back, but it's nearer the face itself. The frame there that's the face is onto is designed to be a little bit stronger, a little bit lighter, be a little bit more forgiving to off-center strikes. The face being AI, so artificial intelligence, to be more forgiving and help lower that spin rate down. So we'll give it a go and we'll see what happens. I'm going to be trying all these in 10.5 degree, set very neutral with the same shaft. So I've got here the Tensai Blue 65 stiff. It just works well for me. It's a similar shaft to what I currently use, designed for mid-launch, mid-spin. The standard length of driver you get built, unless you order it different, is 45 3/4 inches. I would look at that with a custom fitting. Is it right for you? You want to use the longest golf club you can still hit out the middle. Okay, so longer can help us produce more speed, but if it's causing more erratic strikes, then go shorter, especially if you're looking to gain a little bit of consistency or hit more fairways. The manufacturer's obviously going to build them longer and longer and longer, so marketing can say this driver is X amount longer. So the longest we're allowed to go is 46 inches. They're pretty close to that. I've got to be honest, I've used a TaylorMade driver now for a number of years, so I've been used to that different contrast, whereas this is an all black top. Now you do see the carbon parts at the back of the driver face here. So it's more of a matte finish towards the front, and then you see the carbon part towards the back of it. So if the lighting's good enough, there is some contrast there, don't get me wrong. The shape of the head, compared to what I've been used to, it looks like there is more mass towards the back of the golf club. So it looks a little bit more, I think the word would be bulbous. But that can give you that idea of forgiveness, because you're looking on something where it's a wider head almost from front to back. And as I said, from a technical point of view, it helps them move the mass just a little bit lower, a little bit further back in the golf club. It also looks to me a little bit closed. And when you read up on this one, the Max, it does say it is for a slight draw setting. We are going to hit the D in a minute that is more extreme. But I don't personally like looking down on a face but it's slightly closed. So I might opt for one of the other heads, or I can adjust how this golf club is set. So this is a big bit of info that you really need to make sure you grasp, and it's true with other manufacturers as well. You can go 3 degrees difference. So although I've got 10.5 here, I can stagger that. I can alter that a lot with this loft sleeve. It's a little bit more complicated because you've got the 2 dials with Callaway, but that's not new. They've had it in there for quite a long time. So I've just got this as neutral and standard, so nothing different. But if I increase the loft on the golf club, it is going to help me hit it high. It is going to help me produce a little bit more spin, but it's also going to close the club face. So adding loft on any driver, whether it's TaylorMade, Cobra, Callaway, doesn't matter. When you're adding loft, it's closing the club face. So it's going to help the ball, for me as a right-hander, go more to the left, more of a draw. So if you're a fader slicer, adding loft is a really good thing. Whereas if your miss is already left, you've got to be conscious about that. The opposite is true for those golfers. So if they de-loft the golf club, that's going to open the club face. And it is for a degree. So if I add 2 degrees of loft, it's going to close the club face pretty much by 2 degrees. So It's a 255 carry. That is about the carry distance I get with my old driver anyway. So I got a 15 launch, a 2,200 spin. They're really good numbers. That was a high launch, low spin. There's a little bit more left than I want to see at 30 yards. I'm still getting used to seeing this club face that little bit closed. I would perhaps need to de-loft this to open that face, or go into one of their other models. So that's where the LS, or the LS, the low spin version, comes in. It sits a little bit more neutral. But I do like this head, did like that sound. I mean, when we say we like the feel of something, a lot of that is the sound that we get from it. But I'm looking for, of course, if I'm changing a driver, more forgiveness or more distance. So I need to be getting the ball beyond a 255 carry. I need to be upwards of 260 to be considering changing. I've hit a few shots there and I'm getting some okay numbers, but too far offline to the left of the target. I'm still struggling with this club face. I'm just going to see, I've got this neutral standard, 10.5 degree in the max. I'm just going to see if I can actually hit a fade with it. It just feels like everything is going to go a little left, and I'm getting pretty good ball speed, pretty good launch angles and spin rates, but not doing anything different from what I've currently got with my driver. A 255 carry, about a 275 up to 280 in terms of the finish. So let me just go ahead and see if I can actually get this one moving the other way, moving a little bit left to right at will if I need to hit that shot. So to be fair, although that was a little bit heely and lost me a bit of distance, I was able to get that ball starting left and bending right. But even when I was setting up there for the draw, visually that club face looks quite a long way closed. Now, to hit a fade, I do need the club face pointing a little left, but it looks quite a long way. So it made me feel like I had to really work quite hard. Potentially going to work very well for those golfers who are hitting perhaps a little bit of a fade and want to straighten out that ball flight. I like the look, I like the feel. The length doesn't worry me, actually. It doesn't feel too long. I like the weighting of it, but it wasn't really giving me anything different to what I've currently got. I'm just going to compare that then into the D, which is the draw head. So I've got here now is the Max D, so the draw-headed version that Callaway are offering. Now it's done that, it's got a slightly lighter, it's only I think 6 grams lighter weight at the back, but they've put more of the weight then in towards the heel so you can visually see that. And it's meant to sit a little bit closed. Again, I'm going to try it, same loft, same shaft, still on the neutral standard setting, so not moving it in a different way. But visually, when you put this down behind the golf ball, it looks more turned in, more toed in. So this is going to be really helpful for that player struggling with an open face, hitting a fade to slice. Now, a club cannot turn a slicer into a drawer. It can close the face enough that you hit a pull. And then when you start hitting that pull, and this works, when you start hitting that pull to the left, you can start to change your swing path by swinging a little bit more to the right. So it would help if the player is hitting a push slice, but the player who's swinging out to in hitting a pull slice, something that's starting straight or left and bending right, it's actually going to make them hit more of a pull. Now that is better, and then they would have to change their path, but it's almost step number one. Let's just hit a couple with this, fly through it and see what the results are like compared to the normal Max. Same spec, what I got out of this compared to the Max was actually 1 mile an hour more ball speed, 1 degree higher launch angle, and a slightly lower spin rate. So my spin rate came down to just under 2,000 revolutions. So you can get away with the spin being around that kind of number if we can launch the ball high enough. So the sort of 10.5 here head is working okay. The numbers look okay, but I was missing that as an average 38 yards left as opposed to 34 yards left with the Max. It just feels hard work to me to not get the ball to go left of target. So I'm quite happy with the speeds, the launches, the spins. I'd be worried about the direction for me personally with this head. Looks similar to the Max, just looks a little bit more turned in. It feels very similar, so this is going to work great for those fader slices. That's what it's designed for. So what I've got here is the Max LS. So this is the low spin version. There is one other head that I haven't got here to test, and that is the triple diamond that is designed for an even lower ball flight than this. So this one itself is designed as a lower launch, a lower spin, a more neutral head. The diamond, the triple diamond, is designed to take it a little bit more extreme than that and really bring that flight down. Visually on this one, the low spin, clearly you can see the face sits a little bit squarer. The face looks deeper and it doesn't look as wide. And I know it isn't. It's got the mass just a little bit more forwards. That's one of the things they can do to help bring down that flight. But when the club isn't as wide from front to back, leading edge to trailing edge, it means it loses some of that forgiveness. So what they're trying to do here is move a little bit of that mass more forwards, lower that flight, give you a slightly hotter flight out of it, but you will lose a bit of forgiveness. It is a deeper head as well. So I got some interesting results there. For me personally, if I was going to buy one of these 3 drivers, it would without doubt have to be this Max LS. It doesn't look as forgiving visually. Because it's that deeper face, it's not as wide, but the other 2 for me, they're just too far left, off the planet left. This gave me a little bit better direction. I didn't feel like I was going to miss it left. And I started getting a little bit more out of it than I currently get with my driver. My driver is a little bit shorter than this, so some of that may be the length of the shaft there, but my ball speed was up to 150 as an average. My good ones even up to 153s. I had one bad one, I guess, that needs to come out in ball speed that would have bumped up that average. My launch angle was still high enough at 14, but it was lower than the other 2. So the highest one, as you would almost think, was the Max D. The middle flighted one was the Max, and the lowest flighting launch angle was the Rogue LS. It was the lowest spin as well, so my spin rate dropped from 2,300 with the normal Max. With the Max D, it dropped to just under 2,000. This was 1,800, which is okay as long as I can get that launch angle high enough, which I was at 14 degrees. So I was carrying that 265 as an average, and my good ones in there, I had a 273 carry. That was my longest. So I'm up to 290. I'm getting a little bit more longer carry, but I'm also getting more roll because of the lower spin rate with this head. So I think what this shows, take this bit of advice from it. You need to get it custom fit. You need to take along your current driver. I've fitted thousands of golfers over the years, and it would always surprise me when golfers would turn up for a custom fitting without their current product. Take that along with you, test it like for like with the same ball. Ideally not using range balls, use some proper quality golf balls like I had here in my test. Go to somewhere where you trust, someone who trusts to custom fit you. I picked up these products from Anthony Haste over at Horsley Lodge Golf Club. So a special thanks to him for lending me the product to test out these clubs. He's a stockist of them, so maybe check him out as well for an unbiased review of these products. If you're local to the area and looking at this, definitely go and see him. I was getting this working the best for me and longer than I currently get with my driver. So would I buy it? Well, yeah, who doesn't want extra yardage? But it was really important to find out I needed this version, the Max LS head. I would say go and test it with some proper golf balls under good conditions, compare it to what you've currently got, and make sure you speak to someone who knows what they're talking about to try and get the right length, the right loft, and the right setup in terms of the head for you, because that's very, very vital when you're starting to compare product. If that video has helped, put some comments below. It'd be great to hear from you if you've hit this product, what you thought of it. Make sure you check out all my other content on my channel. Tons and tons of tuition videos on there to really help your game.